Rewind Golden Wind this time that we going with. You know what I'm saying? Fresh off of the JoJo Bizarre Adventure Golden Wind. You don't like that one?
Hey, I didn't watch it.
I don't know. I feel like
you gotta have.
I feel like the first.
I
didn't watch all of it.
I feel like the first three you was cool with. This one you kind of scoffed at.
I didn't scoff at it.
Hey,
I don't know it. You know what I'm saying?
Like a scoff. Surprised you didn't watch it.
I just didn't watch all of it.
Because you
always Golden Wind. What's
the most recent one?
Oh
No,
no,
most
that's
recent
I
was
got
Stone Ocean.
Oh no, wait. Golden Wind was. Yeah, you're right.
Golden Wind was.
I think I only got to like 3 seasons.
Okay.
Did you get to the Jodeci intro yet? Was that
I thought that was Golden Wind.
I just saw it. I don't think I watched it. Like I saw that.
What was that episode? The whole arc.
I mean the ending. That's what
so if you got to it, then that means that you're probably in Golden Wind.
No, I'm saying like I literally just saw that clip. I didn't watch no episode.
Oh.
I saw the clip.
Okay.
You see?
Okay.
Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know how like in the season when it goes to a new arc, that's what it is. So yeah. But you know what I'm saying? If you have been following us, obviously this is a Sway Universe exclusive, and I'm super excited about that, man. I feel like we've been reaching out to culture. We've been hitting a lot of people. Shout out to y'all in the comments, man. I've been seeing y'all comments. I like that y'all rocking with us, man. Words on Sway's Universe, man. You know?
Words on Sway's Universe.
Words on Sway's Universe.
We definitely gotta get that shirt. Shirt's close.
We do
We
got.
gonna say the shirt's from finale. That's gonna be finale.
Now,
Alright.
yeah. So, I mean, this is the Last of Us recap review. We're going over episode 4. So, with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into the synopsis and get into our recap. Season 1, Episode 4. Please hold to my hand. Traveling through Missouri on their way to Wyoming, Joel and Ellie takes a necessary detour through the ruins of Kansas City, where they are ambushed by bandits. Joel kills 2 of them, but a third overpowers him and nearly strangles him to death before Ellie saves him by shooting the man with her gun. More bandits, led by Kathleen, finds the body. Kathleen, believing Joel and Ellie are in contact with the man she seeks named Henry, orders a manhunt. Kathleen's second-in-command, Perry, shows her a room with something growing underground, but Kathleen orders him to conceal it until they find Henry. Joel finds a high-rise where he and Ellie sleep for the night until they can scout a way out of Kansas City. They awake to find Henry and his brother Sam holding them at gunpoint. So, first reaction. How do you feel about this episode?
I liked it. I mean, I think you know, I feel like we're revving back up. I think after last episode, you know, that was kind of like a stop, like a hard stop, because we look at, you know, we're patient to another person's story. I mean, just the fact that you get the driving montage, like I think, you know what I'm saying, like you know you're gonna get back into what the action is again. So I mean, I think so far the episode, like how it ran, how it was, I think we're back where we need to be at.
Well, yeah, this is I think this is the completion of the first act.
This felt like a filler for me.
Well, now I wouldn't say necessarily a filler, but this is like okay, now we about to get into the gritty.
Yeah, I guess maybe that's it felt like it kind of, obviously it moves the plot along because you're meeting the new people, you're seeing who the next big bad, or not even big bad, like the
couple of things,
like the next who, if you're looking at it as an arc type of thing, it's like it felt like this sort of the come down where it's like, all right.
Yeah.
That's I guess that's why I said filler, where it's like it bridges the two.
Yeah, like that's why I said, like, when I view TV shows and everything now, I view it, I really do, especially if it's like a 10 episode or something like kind of a season, I really kind of view it in a kind of like 3 episodes. It's like each arc, every 3 episodes is an arc. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So if you look at that, like the first 3 episodes were, you know, going from the chaos to finding out that y'all have to take this girl with y'all, you know, meeting Ellie and everything, and getting the ride. Right. You know what I'm saying? And that whole arc's done. And then now it's the slow crawl again. Cause remember I said, I'm used to most shows being action. Well, most usually have a slow crawl to action.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And what they're pretty much doing is kind of giving you action to a slow crawl. Like back to a,
that's upstairs.
Oh, back to a whatchamacallit. Like back to a drop again. So I feel like, even though I feel like it's a slow crawl, but it's not first episode. The first episode was chaos, pure chaos from the start.
Right. Well, that's what I said. That was why I was saying filler, where it's like this one, it had enough. Obviously, the action with him getting attacked and stuff. Y'all don't know what Family Affair is doing. But it had enough of stuff like that where it wasn't completely disregarded, but it was definitely a bridge to.
Yeah.
All right, well, this is where episode 5, 6, maybe even 7.
Yeah. I mean, and you gotta think of the people it's the reset because like the first 3 episodes were all the spores and the monsters, and then now you're getting the I guess if you're looking at the villains, it's like you saw what the zombies and infected or whatever. Right. Now let's show you how bad. I definitely feel that was having this episode and getting the foreshadow of the new crew. The next 3 episodes is literally going to be about that.
Right.
So we finna have the human. We had the cordyceps and monster arc. We finna have a human arc, and I don't know how the game. Like I said, the game wherever it goes. But I'm assuming the last 4 episodes are going to pretty much be the climax. You know what I'm saying?
I also do want to say shout out to fam who was Perry. That was the dude who was Tommy in the game.
Oh, he sure was. Yeah, dope. That's super dope. Like I said, we talked about that earlier, like how they're rehashing and using people. Whereas like we may have mocapped you and used you for this scene, but like we can't use you for this because of what we're trying to, but we can still.
Except Marlene, they were like, look, you.
Yeah.
Come on. But you just Marlene eternally.
Right, but before jumping forward, the reason why I did like this episode a lot because so that journey before they get to the town and everything like that, right? You're getting that bonding between Joel and Ellie, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So like, you get in that moment to see where it's like she still has a lot of adolescence to her, but also have, it's like in this episode you got to see both her adolescence, but also her having a more grown mind with all the stuff that she had to deal with, right? So it's like, you have that moment of just like, where like Joel is like, he's talking to her like, like you a kid, but then he's still having these moments like, all right, but this is the real. So obviously, like I said, Frank's in them and Bill's car, and so like that scene was straight from the game.
Stick big ass plows on them and clear the roads for their tanks and such.
I want to see a tank.
You will. Tanks, choppers, all that stuff.
All this stuff was just lying there.
Built to fight the wrong enemy. Just scattered around now. What else did you get?
Well, I got something. Here, this make you all nostalgic?
This is actually before my time.
Great.
It's a winner, though.
Got something else. It's right on the reading, but it has some interesting pictures.
Oh, no. Put that back. That's not for kids.
I don't even walk around with that thing.
Please get rid of it.
Hold your horses. I want to see what all the fuss is about.
Hold your horses. I want to see what all the fuss is about.
Why are all these pages stuck together?
Why are these all stuck together?
I'm just fucking with you.
Like y'all said, it was always these hints.
That's why it was so weird to me when just to quickly address what people were coming back from the last episode about how, he wasn't gay in the game, and it's like the hints were there.
That's what I said.
The hints were explicit.
That's what we said in the last episode. The only thing is that they just didn't flat out say.
They didn't flat. Because like I said, even when he was talking about Frank, he said he was my partner.
Right. So
and it's like, obviously, if you want to be blind to, business partner, business.
I mean, ain't no love
we are
apocalypse.
20 years into the apocalypse. You're not going to be talking about this my business partner.
Ain't no love apocalypse.
Yeah, because also that book. Now that was a crazy Easter egg pun book because it's not pivotal to the story, right? Like if you search I forgot which house you search, but if you search a house, she finds a pun book. And then she references the time before the game. So she references the DLC that you have to play, where she actually got introduced to the pun book. So when she said, like, her excitement for it is because she's seen this book before.
Okay, we need to lighten the mood. Ready? It doesn't matter how much you push the envelope, it'll still be stationary.
What is that?
It's a joke book. No pun intended. Volume 2 by Will Livingston.
Let's keep going.
What did the Confederate soldiers use to eat off of? Civilware.
But like
Oh,
you have a cutscene, you have a moment of like.
Oh yeah,
like,
finding. So
when she finds
it's
him.
one of those like trigger moments.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like, who's to say she's gonna do puns next episode and shit?
I don't know. The way they had her,
The way they had her, she might.
She went to bed with a bang. Like I hit you with a banger. I'm mad at you.
But that's why she might not. She gonna lose.
I'm mad at you.
I won.
Joel might shut it down. That was funny yesterday. We ain't on that shit no more. That was funny yesterday.
Moving forward to when they had their shootout, right?
Mm-hmm.
That whole fake person and that crash into it, like that happened exactly to the TV. That shootout and everything like that. You have that moment, and then one of the best Easter eggs, and then this is what I talked about last episode, how they're giving explanation to game shit that you got to do in the game. Joel constantly can't get through small areas, so he has to tell Ellie to go.
Okay, I figured that's how you.
Yeah, so we told her that, like, so, but I just love that. Like, to me, those are the type of things that I do love.
And even the expansion of adding like the Kathleen and stuff, because like you meet the brothers, which you see at the end of the episode.
Right.
But Perry, wasn't his name Perry in here?
Yeah.
He's not in the game, and like that's when you look at the end, they were even talking about expanding on the people who
they
like
had to give them names,
you had to give them names. Like now a Perry and a Kathleen type character may have been in the game,
right?
But I don't. And unless I'm wrong, and somebody please tell me to come. I don't remember ever giving them the name.
Well, I feel like could the main people like in the lore of The Last of Us, they probably like in the lore of The Last of Us Bible or everything like that.
Maybe there's names.
There's names to some, but you meet a lot of faces.
Right. Where it's like,
there's a
and
lot
I think that's sort of what they were doing is instead of them being faceless people, they like he was saying at the end, he likes humanizing villains. And obviously you can do that enough in the game, but when you're in a TV show and you can get a real live actor obviously to be them, it's really dope to see them being like, well look, now this faceless dude that the brothers were up against in the game, well let's put a thing to them. Now we got a Perry and a Kathleen who they run a society essentially.
Right.
And
so
now,
I mean, pretty much what they did with Frank. Like you said, no one never saw Frank.
Really.
And then they just made Frank.
Yeah,
they just make him up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so I guess that makes sense. So and that's why I say like when you see them, the group. That's why I say when I viewed it like okay, we into the human part of it because you know that's
because like Deuces said, even though the ambush part happened in the game, I don't remember them having like leaders like we knew of like their name and stuff, like how they did in the show.
Well, they did because each checkpoint, remember, like you'll deal with bandits. It's one of those ones like you would have to listen to their dialogue. So like they would address like commanders and stuff like that and say, but it was like unless like
that's what I'm saying. Like, you would never actually see.
It's not like there was never a cut scene that literally just showed the bad guys.
Because that's what I mean.
Because you eventually meet like some higher up bad guys and everything, but every checkpoint didn't have like a standard like okay, but if you listen to their dialogue, they'll say oh chief or like and stuff like that. So it's like it's one of those things where it's like they're just fleshing out some.
So in the game. Like going from how the story's like how the show's going, from watching it, and was it like this too? Like was it just like a heavy portion in the beginning of just dealing with the monsters, and also you like?
Well, yeah. So the way that The Last of Us works, and because like so for most parts, the dead, the spores, and everything, they're kind of like a lot in buildings. They're a lot more underground and everything like that, right? So a lot of the times, like when you're on the surface, you're just dealing with these factions of people. Now there are areas that get ran over,
which makes sense. Obviously, when you think about it,
because like they're not just uniquely underground, but it's like it's rare that they're out because they're mostly underground or in a building or something like that.
Think about this typical fungus. Think about typical fungus where you would see like even though this is like I guess an evolved one, but think about where you mostly see fungus. You see it in those dark, damp areas.
Oh, I had
buildings and shit.
So they really try to balance out the threats because like if you thinking about like I said, you do Walking Dead, of course, like. Zombies, they were human, so they're top surface, they're out here.
Right.
But with these, they are more like, damn, we gotta go into this fucking building.
Yeah, And then think about it this way: the deeper you go, or the lower you where fungus is the heaviest, that's where the most aggressive type of mutated people or what was going to be at.
Okay.
So it's like it's
why is it going on the ground? Like family photo on the ground,
because like Deuces said, they do still make it out into the surface world,
like as we saw in episode 1.
Yeah, so it's like at some point you like, well shit, I'm just trying to find me an area that's safe. Whether it's underground, overground, in the damn sky if I can do it. Yeah. I'm trying to be safe.
And depending on where you gotta go, and depending on what your mission is, sometimes you gotta go down.
Right. And you see how dilapidated this world is? They had to find a whole new route because the bridge was blocked. The tunnel was blocked, right?
The tunnel was blocked.
Okay.
So it's like shit like that happens.
I mean, I get that. I get it. I just now that I'm listening to it, I feel like, not saying that they're not a threat, but I just feel like the mushroom people aren't as big of a threat as the
that's because you only see two versions. You've seen the ones
you
that
didn't see the you didn't see the preview though? You didn't see the big thing they showed in the preview of the next episode?
Yeah, see, like so like those are like you seen the swarms, right?
Yeah.
And those are the ones and you so used to like regular, so you like, okay, I understand that threat. Once you start seeing the other
we told you earlier about the one that can spit.
Once you start seeing the other ones, then you don't realize
but they all still like you damn near gotta run into them. Like, and I guess cause not that even clears up even my thought process on Frankenville. Like, how the fuck y'all survive this long and nobody?
But also remember, anywhere you touch that spore, it alerts because they hive mind essentially.
Right.
So anytime you touch that, you may not even realize you touched the spore. You just walking through a house, stepped on it. Next thing you know, your house surrounded.
Because you still gotta scavenge. And that's where. That's what I said.
Like, that's what I'm saying. Like, what I'm understanding now is that because even like you're saying, they pretty much are gonna be more present, dark, basements, dark, just like mushrooms in general.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So yes, going into a house that's dilapidated and deserted and stepping on something, they more likely are in the basement or some shit of that house. Or
right.
Around. So I get that. That's all I'm saying. Like, but it
does. You gotta think about scavenging. Where's niggas gonna hide most of their stuff? In the dark basement and stuff. Nobody finna hide. You're not like, if we was trying to scavenge, if we was trying to put stuff around for here that we gotta come back and find an apocalypse, we not finna set it right there. We finna hide it underneath some shit.
I mean, you gonna definitely try to put it in the most, like, I'm just gonna throw my box of shit in the basement, even if I ain't going down there.
Right.
So far, what you've only seen, as far as the names, and I'm gonna give you these names. So far, you've only seen the runner, the stalkers, and the clickers. Okay. Those are the only ones that you've seen so far. What you haven't seen yet is the bloater. You haven't seen the shambler, or you haven't seen the rat king. And those motherfuckers is no joke.
I get it. Rat king would be the one that brings all the horse together, like a walking, whatchamacallit. Bloater, of course, explodes. And what's this one? What's the other one? The shambler. I feel like he's aggressive and just like grabs you and shakes you up.
Because it's called a shambler? Like, is that what? Shambles? I mean, something called shambles. They go to pieces.
Yeah, shaking your ass in shambles.
Shaking you to pieces.
So, no, the shambler ones are the ones that explode.
I never knew any of the names. I ain't lying.
So I'll give you the definitions of them. The bloaters have been infected for several years. The fungus has led them to become slow and blind, yet incredibly strong and resilient, with fungal growth serving as armor plating. Bloaters can also tear fungus from their bodies to use as spore bombs and throw at their enemies.
Okay,
so the shamblers are people who have been infected for over several years and inhabit areas thriving with water. So there's like any area with water, that's where they are generally at. They're not physically, while not as physically enhanced as clickers or bloaters, shamblers are able to grab prey and expel large spore clouds from their bodies, which causes acidic burns.
I wonder how they're gonna adapt that to.
And also,
somebody's gonna die.
Yep, and also
somebody gotta take a L.
Yep, and also when shamblers die, they explode.
No, but I'm saying, how do you adapt? Because like I said, it can grab, like you said, it can grab you and spit out the stuff. Like, you think he grabs you and he kisses you like the one from the second episode?
No, he's probably already licking and dripping or whatever. Probably like my idea already, because what we haven't got,
the Rat King is crazy.
Like what we haven't got yet is Joel and them with a group. So somebody got to be around Joel and so we can get some more deaths. Well, and get some of the
if they base it off of how the game went, then the crew that's searching them, just even in general, it's usually when you see a crew get the, because Joel doesn't ever necessarily get with a crew.
Right.
It's Joel and Ellie, and then maybe a few ragtags, you know what I'm saying, that roll with them. But it's like when you see groups get devoured, it's usually the group that's either searching them or the Fireflies.
Right.
Or,
I mean, that's what I said. I just like.
I think this is the perfect time where you're gonna see some of the different
Yeah,
stuff because now this is the area where
this is the episode that's gonna be like, oh shit.
There's a ton of people.
Because up until this point, we like, all right, we seen the runners, we seen the clickers. So
We
we're
really
like, they wild, but we haven't felt threat.
Well, like I said, I know
this is gonna be that.
And you know, and that would make sense because you know what, that would always be like the foreshadow of like what y'all, second episode where like we don't step over these bumps. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So being in a big city.
So like I said, somebody stepped on something. He didn't even realize he stepped on something.
Right.
And all of a sudden,
like I can definitely see it too. Because I mean that's what you want to see. If you want to show all them off, and Joe's probably will fight one or be aware of one. But if you want to see them kill people, it's gonna happen.
Well, you also don't want it to be like that's the end of the season type thing that you gotta see it. Where like you just build towards it and only see it once towards the end of the season. Right. I think you kind of need to see the oh shit moment. Yeah. Where it's like in mid-season, especially if it's 10 episodes, 5 will be mid-season.
Well, that's what I said. We need, and like I said, when I really try to dissect seasons, whatever, because we need one chaos. We had the first episode was a chaos episode, so we need another chaos episode. Like, and that really is like, because that would be the next pretty much big break to slow it back down to getting the pretty much wrapping up the season. You know what I'm saying? Because like Joe, that's what I'm saying. Like Joe gonna have to escape from them in the city, her and him and Ellie, while the actual people that's like you said, searching them are getting attacked. Like it's literally gonna be a breakout of like while they're trying to find Joe, a horde. Like they trick and now it's them, a horde, everybody trying to get out. So that's how we're gonna see more different ones trying to. But it has to be that big chaos, and it's perfect to be in this big ass city where you gotta pretty much maneuver through all these buildings to get out of here while shit is just literally coming down the block on your ass. So that's what I said. I feel like we ended this episode. The fact you said for the next episode we already see it.
So, it looked like, and obviously it was in the previews, and they show it very quickly.
Right. Yeah.
But you can definitely see like a bigger infected running towards the screen at one of the points.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that's what I'm saying. So I mean, we finna definitely get.
Like, so in the clip I saw, was he running? Because the clip I saw looked like he was just emerging and coming out.
No, when they showed it at the end of the episode, it looked like he was running.
He was running? Oh.
Unless you definitely.
If he's running, then that might not be a bloater. I don't remember bloaters running.
No, that's why I didn't think it was a bloater. I got the bloater. I thought the bloater was the one that exploded. That's why I said, okay, it had to be a bloater.
So the Rat King one, so I wanted to, before you give that, the Rat King one, what makes him, he is extremely colossal in strength and size. And he can take mad damage. But what also is, even after taking damage, he doesn't die. But instead, various infected parts will start to break off from the larger mass and attack along with like that. So, like I said, the deeper they get into this is where they're going to deal with the most. Because, like I said, it seems like if you go to an area that was infected the longest, you're going to deal with the stronger infection.
I mean, but that may be also why we got, like I said, the end of this episode, or this episode in general, where we got that ground.
Oh yeah.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I think that's the other reason why I think.
We're all on board.
Yeah.
It's either the bloater or the shambler underneath there.
Probably.
I mean, it could be Rat King. Like, I like your idea now, because if you really wanted to show something wiping out a group of motherfuckers, it would be them trying to attack a Rat King. And then now that motherfucker like spores off and now attack everybody.
But it could be any of those. That blow.
Because you gotta think
the shambler for sure. Because it starts grabbing niggas and just.
Right.
And you gotta, since it's not spores this time, it's, I guess, mouth to mouth. Like,
I don't think it's mouth. I think he just really just splitting out. Like, I feel like he's just gonna be a gaseous kind of being.
No, because they're not. The whole gaseous part would go from the spores, where it's like now they was like vines and shit. Oh,
because I mean, if that was the case, then that would always be like saying that Tess might have died to a shambler. Then
no, because I feel like his would be more violent, where it's like he like puking in your mouth or some shit now.
Yeah, because that was clearly a runner. Remember they came.
Yeah, they came there running, and like he stopped and looked like did like a regular ass kiss lip lock.
Yeah.
I'm assuming
this
nigga is gonna grab you.
They was running. He saw. He was like, ooh.
He
stopped and like, ooh. Excuse me. Wait a minute. Walked up to her slowly like, hey.
So like I'm assuming Fam finna
fungus that's acting like this already?
I forgot something.
Yeah.
You ain't on that? You ain't on that?
It was.
Yeah.
I read that full article after I had sent it to y'all. It was very sensationalist. That was somebody definitely trying to be like, let me get me some people in by throwing that Last of Us.
Yeah.
Getting on that Last of Us train.
All right, question now, because now
if it is going on, I ain't gonna be reliable.
Now I'm curious. At what point, like, does it happen? When will you actually believe? Let's put it in this world. Let's say it's inevitable that we are leading up to this, right? Mm-hmm. Now, obviously, we're still skeptical. At what point will it be the outbreak, or like, what if you like actually start seeing some weird ass, like if you start seeing, if you start seeing fungus growing randomly out of, like you're like, I've seen way more fungus lately.
I mean, yeah.
Would that make you start believing?
It would definitely have to be mushrooms growing in places I never seen. It would literally have to be that.
Like, this is one thing that you realize about the apocalypse. It's like, no matter what happens, somebody's gonna put personal gain above the team, right? Because even with that thing in the basement, Melanie Linsky. Even with the floor in the basement, remember, she told old boy, she said, don't tell them until we find Henry. I don't know what Henry did to her, but whatever it is, because like even with old boy dying, she blamed it on Henry.
I don't know who Henry is. Like Henry,
he's in the game.
Henry and Sam, they're in the game. Yeah. But like I said,
her vendetta
because she's an original character. Yeah. We don't know what Henry did to her.
So, but it was like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, but like in this world, it's like, you ain't gonna tell the crew about this motherfucking ground that is breathing?
It's definitely.
that's even beyond her vendetta.
Like, I mean, you wild for telling me as whoever I'm supposed to be to you, like, don't tell nobody.
Yeah, Perry Cole, because he went without an A.
Well, Perry knew about it.
Huh?
Perry was the one that showed her.
That's what I'm saying. So he called for going along with her saying
he went to her, but God think, but Perry already was keeping it in secret. He didn't tell nobody. Because, listen here, right now, with this whole, if I go in the basement and I see something, I'm knocking on every door. Yo, niggas, get him out of here. There's something in that basement.
I'm not doing that.
I'm telling everybody, nigga, don't get it out of here.
I tell y'all.
I'm gonna hit the fire alarm when I'm out of here.
You know what I'm saying? But Perry saw that shit, was like, ooh, all right, I gotta go find Kathleen and tell her. And then that's what I'm saying. But I mean, that's what I'm saying.
And you think Perry talked about himself too?
And you know, and he did.
Somebody walked in.
No. Perry was the one that did that room. Because remember, that was in the same building that he found. Remember, so when they was doing their search, she was like, did you find it? She's like, I couldn't find anything at Henry. He said, I did. And he took it to the he took it to the attic to see it.
Remember the
and then he took it to the basement.
There was like 2 or 3 people that
was
working.
Is he supposed to be this elite person or just
here?
He
was second in command.
He got him here. We had no other names.
But besides them two. And so, and then that's the thing, because when she went up there, and he showed her that they was living in there, run out of food and everything like that. She was like, well, why didn't we do like why are we moving? And he said, well, and then he took her to the basement and showed that.
Like throughout this whole episode, Ellie was pretty much still, and it's really crazy. It was really good because I think from all this they was really going through the last episode, last 3 episodes or 2 episodes that we were together or whatever. Like having that long stretch of driving, like it was really like a chill moment. Like, even when she fell asleep and really didn't get back up until you back in shit, like you back. You know what I'm saying? So for her, that beginning was like, oh, I found this poem book and I'm be laughing, joking, whatever, and I'm playing with the music, I'm fucking around with all this shit. And then she woke up and was kind of looking, this nigga dipping through cars in the city, like, you know what I'm saying? And then guns in the air, you like, get out, man, get out, like. So it was like, so she really had to like, so it was really good to kind of have that moment of her go through all this fucking terror or whatever, like literally killed the nigga, damn near had to kill a nigga, you know what I'm saying?
She didn't kill him.
Damn near.
She didn't kill him.
Damn near.
She just couldn't.
But I definitely saw she was aiming a gun, and she was like, shoot this nigga in the ass. Like,
hey, he turned, we can talk it out.
We not fighting no more.
He said, he said, we good, we ain't fighting no more. Time out.
Hey, time out.
Ali action for you.
Shut me down.
We not fighting no more.
I can't feel my legs.
Bro gave up his night.
It's good night. Hey, I just like how Joe was like, video game shit. All right, I got me a new drop, got a new knife.
Nigga got a quest reward. Nigga, like, you received the new knife. You received the new knife, nigga. Like, dog. And he used it on his ass right after that, bro. You cut, bro. So I'm saying, so that, she came out crying. And that's what I said. I remember it was like the ending of the episode, and they were trying to talk like, we had to show that, you know, Ellie's just like him. I'm like, I get what y'all trying to say. I get it, y'all want to say she's just like him, but I feel like it's too early to really throw that out there.
Well, I think they're laying the breadcrumbs because once
Yeah.
they get into her backstory, then you'll understand a lot more.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying? Once they get into that.
But I mean, she's definitely like, I even saw somebody else,
which
when they, like on the episode, like do last episode, like make a post we were talking about her Ellie, like that little motherfucker's sadistic. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all ain't paying attention to how her face and all that shit is. Like Ellie crazy.
I mean, we saw that at the beginning. Like, she practicing with the gun. She was in that mirror, like, all right, I'm gonna roll up on his ass like this. Nah, that's a little bit too aggressive. I'm gonna just come.
She was definitely getting her Easter egg on. Easter egg in the mirror like a motherfucker.
Maybe if I come back, come
bitch eyes, right? Which eye, bitch? Like,
only thing was missing, she ain't have catchphrase. All she had to do was like,
no,
break yourself, fool.
She want Joe to know.
Yeah,
you can't be over here talking and adding phrases and stuff. Joe, what the hell you doing back there?
Once you have a leader, then that means that a lot of times there's going to be personal gain. You're going to end up like Kathleen. They should be searching for other things. They searching for a Henry ass for whatever reason, and they blaming everything on Henry.
I mean, they also all got beef with Henry.
But I feel like
Henry.
it's the meme. It's like she riding. She fall off on her bike. Ah, damn it, Henry!
I mean, maybe, like you said, everybody got their own agendas. Like maybe, you know what I'm saying, maybe Perry was like, you know, we need to get some supplies here.
What if
Somebody
Henry
said
was a
get
true
food.
menace in this town? Yeah. And it's like Henry was coming through
until we see
everybody.
like until we, because I didn't hear Perry be like, damn it, we gotta find that nigga Henry. It's been all Kathleen barking instructions.
I feel like Perry just been one step ahead of everybody. They try to get food,
right?
They try to get supplies.
Perry probably already know where Henry at.
Every time they've been a big ass out that Perry was here. You know what I'm saying? And that's like, and the 4 or 5 times somebody was sitting around moping like, man, we gotta get this fucking Perry, bro.
All right, so last question before we get into Didge question. So one, I wouldn't say a shocking moment, but a moment that we had was Starbucks lasted in this motherfucker. Out of everything,
before Starbucks, bro, she opened the coffee. He said, "You don't like coffee? You don't like coffee?"
He looked at her like,
it wasn't even a confused. He was like, it was like, what you gonna drink then?
No, that's what it was. What y'all didn't realize is that's why he had that big ass Starbucks now. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, it's all mine.
Because like I said, when he was driving, he was like,
but that was before, like I said, before the Starbucks, the terminal looked. Oh,
which like we said,
I mean, it was funny though because it's a sound too. What the fuck is that noise? What is that?
But like we said, like I feel like I said,
what, Dunkin' pissed.
Dunkin' pissed. Somebody dropped the ball on Dunkin'. Also, I feel like the decision to keep a brand name coffee was because when they decided to retain this, like create this new world. It was an early ass morning meeting, and somebody was like,
somebody was on the Starbucks around like, hey, keep that.
Somebody was like, we gotta keep this.
Somebody hit that cup and was like, ooh, we're gonna need this one. We're gonna need this one. Like everybody on that table, it was the quietest moment, quietest sip at the table. Everybody had coffee like, hey, we gonna keep this. We gonna keep rationing.
So I wanted to ask, what would you want to retain? If you had a choice to choose something to retain, a store, a brand, like a food brand, a coffee, a drink brand, like what would you want to retain in the zombie apocalypse?
All right, hear me out. This is gonna sound very, very bougie. Hear me out. Perrier specifically.
What?
Specifically sparkling water. Perrier.
That's it.
Cause like everybody had a regular water, we can deal with that. Just for the special time, when you just get that nice
Papa Perrier.
Get you a nice sparkling water. You got the little fizz. For the special time.
You get it ready. Who's that motherfucker that got the sparkling water?
Who got the fizzy water?
Who got that fizzy ass water?
Y'all gonna be called the Fizzy Tribe?
One invitation, one little outsider come in.
You don't tell people that. That's when you gotta only have for your crew.
Yeah, but then you have somebody like Henry who lead a crew, and now you beef him. Matter of fact, that's
there you go. Kathleen beat damn Henry.
Trying to stop Henry from telling everybody about the
nigga
fizzy water.
Henry. You just see me like, hell yeah, Henry.
Nigga that came up with all the fizzies. Oh, that's why they acted that nigga. That nigga woke up.
He got the
little. He got little on their ass. Like, all this fancy shit y'all think y'all don't deserve this. Like,
but yeah, hear me out.
What about you, Bacardi?
Period.
weed.
That's too easy. You can grow that.
Blunt still.
So
Like already roll, you just want to stash it already. Oh, you talking like the raps?
Yeah, I'm really raps.
which company then? Which company got your heart that you like, ooh.
Ooh, that's disrespectful.
Just hear me out. And this is gonna be a game changer because I know you can still do it, but it's the brand. Give me that French red hot. Because think about all the food that you're gonna be trying that you're gonna be like, if I had
nigga, they was eating jerky. I ain't putting no hot sauce on no jerky.
I put some hot sauce on jerky.
They was eating the toughest of jerky. I mean, that is a thing, eating tough jerky. And you just throw some hot sauce.
The toughest of jerky ain't got shit. So at least give it a little bit of flavor with some French. I want a little bit of flavor.
Don't you see that? He sounded like he was biting tree bark.
Right. Hey. And listen
Chewing
here.
on
Hey, that French is gonna make something that you don't want to eat go down a little bit better.
Damn, I don't really know. Man. I like the Perrier. I'm trying to really
Tell you, join
the Perrier was smooth.
Join
I like
the water crew.
Cause when you make me big blunts, it's like
You big blunts. I didn't make you big blunts.
Well, no, because I said, but you said I gotta pick a brand.
It gotta be a brand. That's the thing. We're talking about which brand which you want to preserve.
I mean, just because of the. I mean, it would have to be Swisher just because of, you know what I'm saying, because of the fandom.
Hey, you
niggas
know,
gonna be after you.
You know how I'm saying. You know how many niggas gonna either want to be a part of your crew or come after you for a Swisher?
You talking about me being raised?
Because I mean, because if you, that's what I'm saying. If you talking about, like I said, if you talking about me living alone, I'm definitely growing weed out the back. You know what I'm saying?
And that's why I said
I'm finna be chilling. You know what I'm saying? So I need blunt. You know what I'm saying?
That's why I said weed was too easy because you can easily grow that.
I mean,
but having swishers with the
that's what.
lead,
Yeah.
Now you a hot commodity.
No leaves. I don't want to touch nothing on the earth. I don't want to even fuck.
You don't want to do back. You know backwoods.
Yeah, I don't want to touch that.
I don't know if you really want to grow your shit. You gonna grow it. It's gonna grow. You gonna be infected. You gonna hit it.
Smoking that mushroom black.
Smoking that fungi.
It's a little spicy.
Smoking that fungi.
Why is it spicy?
Right.
Why is it spicy?
Smoking that cordy pack, man. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, no, I would have to have my, cause I would have to have all that though. Like if I was definitely growing weed, that would be like one of the things. Cause you know how people like raid liquors or whatever. Like that would be like I would have to raid
a dispensary.
Like definitely a dispensary, but in general, like the
potting.
potting.
Definitely finna be there.
Well,
potting.
If you
like,
raise
if I can get all that potting,
or you can get the seeds. You can start from scratch.
But I'm like, if I can get all that potting before it actually, you know, like the actual like made potting, like the bags before it actually touch dirt.
So I was say, you're talking about dirt. The fungus in there.
That's why you gotta get. You either you get the seeds so you can start from scratch.
Yeah, that's
give me a little dug off room.
That's fair.
A little bit, grow a little bit at a time. I think you grow enough. You good. You good for a while. One good run. Like ain't nobody else ever me.
Niggas definitely gonna raid. Y'all both finna get raided. Y'all talking about
you
me.
ain't gonna know. You gonna know unless that's what I'm saying. Let's motherfuckers.
You already said you gonna light up. Somebody gonna smell. Hey, let's go find Fed.
Hey,
let's go find Fed.
Hey, imagine being in the apocalypse and randomly spelling loud.
That's they already supply run. Like they gonna be
especially if you 10-20 years without spelling it, and you spell it again like wait a minute.
It's gonna be right. He's going to the eyebrow. Alright, we know.
Hey, and then imagine me pulling up on your ass like Bill, like hey.
I mean, I need to say it.
Imagine me pulling up on your ass like Bill. You sitting there with your rabbit at the fireman. Hey, I got something perfect for that.
That's really what's perfect.
I got what's perfect. You already had cotton mouth. And when you come in, hey dog.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like people that go to like, and that's really they haven't had that. Like everybody always raised liquor shit like that. Yeah. But there's never been nobody who's cultivating weed. Like, bro, you know how much you can barter if I'm selling weed? I can still be a drug dealer.
Hey, I feel like
I can still literally be a drug dealer.
I feel like our trading system will be fired. Like, because it'll be like, all right. Oh, hey, I'm gonna give Bacardi some spices. You know what I'm saying? He gonna give me some weed. But now we got sauce. spices. I got some weed. Niggas gonna be hungry and niggas gonna be thirsty. I gotta go trade with Didge to get that walk. Like we gonna be hot commodity on the black market.
They gonna all get raided. They gonna raid the shit out of.
Yeah, I'm gonna be claimed because I'm gonna have everything. If motherfuckers be like, well, I just want some weed. So like, well, what you got? You know what I'm saying? What you got? You know what I'm saying? I can give you a zip for this. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, I can't do that with special water.
The virus gonna run though. Like, you can't grow no more water. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I can't. You can find it.
You ain't gonna grow no. Or no, you said that's what you would want to keep, so you gonna always.
So
I'm always. That's what I say. That's what I say. For me, I need blunts. Cause like you said, I can grow weed.
You can grow, yeah.
So I need an unlimited supply of just blunts that I can always grow. Or papers.
But you ain't gonna trade those. You don't care about trade. You better tell me like you better find your own blunt wrap.
Yeah, you gotta find your own blunt. You gotta smoke that motherfucker in the pot. Like, make your own pipe, nigga. I ain't giving out blunts. That's extra. Nigga.
Yeah, so I think we're at the right enough time where we can start revisiting some of the early ones. But it's really what game, book, whatever. I really want to go game. You want to get the same Last of Us treatment.
A game that I would want to have the same Last of Us treatment. Gears of War.
Ooh, that would be nice. I like that you had that ready.
Yeah, I always wanted to Gears of War movie. I love it. I actually didn't play 5.
I didn't play 5 either.
I didn't play 5 or 4, but like 1 to 3. If they gave me a series of 1 to 3, I'd be happy with it.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Red Dead Redemption actually.
Interesting.
I think Red Dead Redemption.
1 or 2.
Wow, wait, he was only just talking about zombies.
Well, no, I just feel like the Last of Us rendition would be a little more harder. But I guess if you just said the treatment in general, like
just the HBO treatment, because I'm thinking like that Red Dead story. Which one?
That's what I said, 1 or 2.
I'm gonna go 1.
1 had a better story than 2.
Yeah, because the way it ended and everything, and I think that like it can get really cinematic. 2 though, I would like it to get into season 2 for 2, just because even with the tuberculosis situation, I would like to kind of see that play out in cinematic form.
I'll go Destiny 2.
But just 2 instead of 1?
You got it. I think you have to start with 1
okay.
and then lead into 2. But
2 is the
2 is the season. I think.
Yeah,
because like if you played Destiny 2, is one where they lost a life.
Yeah.
And so I think just that story, seeing that, because it's almost like it's already obviously apocalyptic,
right?
But then it's like you get an apocalypse inside the apocalypse because they did already rebuilt their society and shit, and then everything goes back crazy again.
Yeah, it's like that in that recent. Like Destiny, I really can work because I feel like that's just in the realms of like the Star Wars and all that.
Yeah.
It's gonna be planetary. You know what I'm saying? You gotta go on this planet to fight this or whatever.
Right.
So it can easily. It's really crazy that we don't get a lot more. I hope we do get to a range because a lot of these games like that, where they have these new like DLC drops and it'll be like a brand new story. It's easily another arc or another season because like y'all started a break.
Speaking of which, and actually I wait till we finish. Okay.
Who won the episode for you?
Ellie? Because he shot that motherfucking ass and walked out.
Yeah, you're right. That's the major thing that happened.
He pleaded with her. Ellie like, I got to get out of here, bro. You stressing me.
Yeah.
Ellie
that's the major
like,
thing that happened.
Like, why you just can't be dead? Nigga, you talking still? I got to get out of here.
You kind of got to give it to her. Yeah, you kind of got to give it to her.
I'm giving it to Joel.
You give it to Joel?
Because the one thing that I like about this series is that they're not making Joel stupid, right? So even the fact that, like, you know what I'm saying, when old boy was pleading this case, this was Walking Dead, somebody was like, no, let's give him a shot. Let's you know what I'm saying, work with him, and then he fuck over the group. And Joel was like, hey, go back to that hoe. He was like, you know what I'm saying? And even then, like, Joe, when they was out there, like I said, you know, if it was Joe by himself, he would have went to sleep on that camp. But because Ellie raised a little bit of like, well, you sure those people ain't gonna check us? He's like, no, they ain't gonna catch us. But then he's like, fuck. Stood out there, you know what I'm saying? And then even with the tunnel, the whole reason why he avoided the tunnel, it wasn't just because of that. He looked up, they could have crawled under, they could have kept on going, they could have chose to go on foot, whatever the case. He identified like, this is fucking a trap and moved around. And even when he saw old boy, he said, yeah, he was like, get back in. He's like, nah, we going. She was like, we ain't helping him? He said, nah. So it's like Joe's instincts. I just love how they're playing out in it. It's like, if when you're playing the video game, obviously you're novice coming into it, right? So it's like, you know, you're making some mistakes and stuff like that. This is as if you beat the game and you're running it back again with Joe.
Like you doing New Game Plus.
Yeah, like you're running it back again. It's like that. And
I get that. I mean,
so Joe wanted for me.
Especially because, I mean, which also makes, like I said, for me, it makes sense with Ellie becoming becoming more like even attached to how you trying to say like they're trying to, you know, eventually gonna show how they much alike. Cause Joel really is just like, bro, we not really, you know what I'm saying? Like we not doing all I'm telling you what it is and what it might be.
Yeah.
You wanna know about me? Like when she there, like why would we not help them whatever? Like cause I was on that. Like you know what I'm saying?
And that's another thing. Like it's funny because like she'll ask questions and he was like, at first he was like, I'm gonna tell you. He was like, all right, fuck, I'm gonna tell you. Yeah. Like you know what I'm saying? Like
that's that. You keep asking questions. All right, here's what's real about this world. Different time.
So how many Eagles you giving this episode?
I actually still like the episode. I'm keeping it at 5. I actually still like it. I enjoyed it, bro. I know you said you thought you like it too.
I'm giving it a 4.
You giving it a 4?
Filler was the wrong word. Like I said, I think it was a bridge episode.
Yeah, like a bridge. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's a bridge. It's just a reset. Like I said, the arc ended with Bill and them, and we're starting a new arc.
Fair.
I'm still giving it a 5 too. Oh, and sole purposes because back to why Joel was an episode for me. I just like I'm so prone to seeing people act dumb in the zombie apocalypse.
Fair.
And I feel like this show is not giving us that. Yeah, and so it seems like shit's gonna hit the fan and everything like that.
I mean, and definitely let everybody know. I mean, as I said, remember it's Friday.
Right, yeah, it's Friday.
So, Super Bowl Sunday. So get an early drop.
Get it early. So watch it Friday. We'll still drop this as soon as we can. Like I said, we're probably gonna record early in our reviews. But I want to know from y'all who won the episode for y'all. Who's been winning these series so far for y'all, and which infected would you like to see the most? Let us know in the comments below. Join us next week. Huh?
So I won't see that rat kid.
Yeah. So let us, you know what I'm saying? Let us know in the comments below. Make sure you like and subscribe. And join us next week as we continue to review The Last of Us only on Sway's Universe. And also, we didn't say this in the last episode. If you want to watch our official rewatch, make sure you go to the link right here. Come on. Right there. Put the link right there. You know what I'm saying? That is our Patreon. You can see our live interaction rewatch of it. So, man, thank y'all for checking us out, and we are out. Peace.